So I started working as a psychologist nearly 20 years ago now, and pretty quickly I started specialising in the child and adolescent area. I realised really fast that I loved working with young people. I find that there's such a hope and optimism in working with the childhood area and with teenagers that you don't always have when you're working with adults.
Your brain can't tell the difference between a tiger and thinking about a test. Okay, or lying in bed at night thinking about something someone said that really peeved you off.
I talk with young people about a range of different topics. I talk with them about how they might increase their motivation to study. We talk about how they cope with difficult times and stresses in their life. We might talk about social networking and gaming and how we can do those things in wise and effective ways.
The next 10 seconds I'm going to ask you to really focus carefully, as hard as you can, on not thinking about a chocolate donut.
So I started doing seminars about 5 years into my career as a psychologist. So that means that I've really got to speak to a whole range of parents and teachers and kids right across Australia. These seminars are a really wonderful part of my work. I get to talk with adults about how they can respond to young people when they are finding life tough.
You see that young people experience humiliation and embarrassment far more intensely, even just looking at a brain physiology level, than adults do.
I do seminars for parents, for example, on how they might help children cope with difficult times, how they might help teenagers cope with the stresses that are in their life. I also talk with teachers about how they can help young people through mental health challenges, how they can help them cope better in the classroom environment.
The stress that we experience, the sad, worried, frustrated bits of life. And something that I do with people all day, every day really, is talk about that.
Now, worrying is completely normal and we all do it. But how can you make sure your worries don't get out of control? Well, to find out, we went along to a special worry workshop.
Hi everyone, I'm Kirrilie. I'm a child psychologist. I'm going to talk to you today about worry. Or you ask a question, there's an either or in it. So you go, is it kind of more this stuff or more this stuff that's hard? Or is it this the kind of thing that I'm talking about that's tricky, or this? Because the easier we make it for teenagers to answer questions, by giving them specific, by giving them either or rather than general, the more likely it is that we'll get information.
I've got an expert in the studio with us now. Kirrilie is a child psychologist. She works for an organisation called Developing Minds.
Well, I think there are lots of kids out there who watch things like this on the news and feel really worried about themselves, about the world. They feel really sad about what's going on.
What sort of effect does it have on children, Kirrilie, when they see parents behaving like this and becoming physically, verbally abusive?
I think this is the really important point, and obviously as a child psychologist, this is what I'm concerned about. And I think there's a couple of things that are happening. First of all, we've got children who are watching and learning. And as parents, we can sort of, talk to children about being a good sport and making sure that they know what they're supposed to do. But when they see us acting that way, then I think that they get pretty powerful lessons about this is what you do.
Encouraging perfection, is that a bad thing?
Well, it's okay to want to do your best, David. Unfortunately, when you have meltdowns because you can't do your best, or getting really upset because things aren't perfect, that's when it all goes wrong. At the moment, I think I've spoken to about 50,000 teachers, parents and young people so far. It's really great to be able to reach a good number of young people and their supporters each year. I think one of the special things about the seminar work, particularly with parents and teachers, is when you have those moments at the end of the seminars when parents come up to you and say, I'm so glad I'm not alone. And this is really a wonderful thing for me. Being a parent myself, I know how important it is to have that reassurance, to just know that you're in it with other people. And so to be able to tell people, this is what happens for lots of people, in itself is a great and wonderful experience for me.